you like to answer a few quick questions for our documentary?
Hi, would you like to answer a question for documentary? Hi, would you like to answer a question for documentary?
Okay, yes.
So what is resistance media?
Opposing something?
Listening.
Standing up for what you believe in.
Fighting back for your rights.
Being strong enough to say, I don't like the way something is, so let me come against it.
Marches and rallies and lawsuits.
Resistance is moving forward.
Just like a not give in.
Resistance can mean like being kind to yourself.
So do you think we need resistance in today's political climate?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what makes America America.
There's a lot of discrimination.
And it's truly a shame.
Stay focused.
And work with organizations that support your beliefs and try to make a difference.
Bukas, you picked a tough day to start. Come on back. Can you fax this over to ABC for me? Thank you.
From the very beginning, the challenge of good versus evil, of hate versus compassion, of tolerance versus marginalization.
Hey, we got the settlement agreement.
The tug of war is between these two camps, and we stand very strongly and centrally in the camp that is for inclusiveness, that is for a value-based system, not an identity-based system.
Great idea, by the way. Let's get it sent out by 5 p.m. Tuesday.
Resistance is anything that shows that you are unwilling to give up. It's not only taking to the streets, it's fully embracing what makes you you.
MC, these people can't just have some all the way from the Netherlands is going to enter.
Oh, welcome. You're going to have so much to do. The treatment of Muslims actually inspires us to be better Muslims. Instead of letting these injustices continue, we actually fight back. Here at CAIR-Chicago, we're creating a platform for you to speak out, be civically engaged, and make a difference. I'm making 4 batches because that'll make me about a little over 100 brownies, and that's a little over 100 people that I can make happy today. Seeing a smile on someone's face during dark times keeps me moving forward. I'm caring for other people that don't often get cared for, and I feel like that's a big part of what resistance is. I want to represent the unrepresented, and that's the work that CAIR does every single day. So I think that it's really important, especially with the work that the Civil Rights Department is doing, is that we're actually communicating to our community that we're a resource for them and that we're here.
This whole war on immigration is real, and it's taking various different manifestations.
Honestly, in my 26 years of practice, I've never seen such an unprecedented move towards deportation actions as this administration has taken on over the past year.
So you want every Islamophobe to have a profile?
Yeah, so every Islamophobe will have a profile on the website based on this data that we've collected and verified.
Okay.
People don't realize that this travel ban is still in effect. I mean, we get calls almost every day on the hotline. We get web submissions on the TAP portal every day. People can submit their travel information onto the website, and then the attorneys on the ground, we monitor those flights. And in August, we switched over to a 24-hour hotline.
Recently, an elderly Syrian couple was detained at the border. We were able to secure their entry back into the US. This is a couple that, without intervention, would likely have been deported. TAP works.
And it's more than just having the infrastructure and over 1,000 volunteers in place should things really flare up again. But there are things we're doing in the interim to catch all the small injustices that are happening on a daily basis.
It's about inclusion, and it's about speaking up for people and helping people when they need that assistance.
For me, it's really simple. Truth is resistance.
The ultimate goal of people who are against us, they just don't want us to thrive or flourish. Being a fencer, it's one of the most active forms of passive resistance that there is. It fosters this sort of internal attitude that you can take the helm and push forward. I am such a proudly South Asian Muslim woman. To me, embracing my brownness and my faith is another form of resistance.
And the fact that we have a huge South Asian population that has flourished and settled in Chicago is a huge sign of resistance.
The people of color resistance narrative has been silenced. And that's where I think our narrative fits. Because CAIR is resistance. We're a civil rights firm. We file discrimination cases. Despite our resistance, discrimination is flourishing. And That's a lot of pain.
I go through a lot of discrimination when it's on the bus, on the street. Yeah. And they don't care if you have a disability or in the wheelchair. I use PACE as my transportation. When they pulled out to pick me up, he didn't feel like he wanted to provide service when he saw that I was wearing a hijab. He called the police, and I was left on the street with my grocery, and when it's really cold in February. Actually, I was crying that day.
You hear that it happens to people, and you never realize that it's going to happen to you.
Basically, we were on spring break, going to Washington, D.C. with the kids, the whole family. The crew really wanted us to get off the plane. That's the bottom line of it, for no good reason that we could understand. With everything being shifted towards Iman.
We didn't know what to do from there.
And that's where we started contacting CAIR, and things started from there.
We've had a number of good wins in 2017. There was such a huge increase in calls that we were getting here at CAIR-Chicago. We didn't have any increase in staffing during that same time period, so we had a lot more work for the same amount of people. A very talented staff of interns and fellows and other personnel in the Civil Rights Department.
Currently, I'm putting together an asylum application for a Libyan refugee. Most of the time, they come to us, and I try to convey his story to the courts.
I was going through some tough time with my citizenship status. I contacted CAIR and they helped me out.
CAIR-Chicago, Rehab speaking. How may I help you? So my community has taught me the power of getting involved and making a change in our society. I see how people have the freedom here, and I want everyone in America really to have the same feeling.
I believe Islam is a religion of justice, and what CAIR is doing is to counter injustice.
I'm not a Muslim myself. I believe in its mission.
They have a great message of promoting tolerance, and that's something the world really needs right now.
We're here together, and we work best together.
So last year we got nearly 80 letters from elected officials on every frame of government. But something that I've been noticing over the past few years is that how much children and young adults are now being affected.
The last thing we want is for these kind of policies and this kind of culture to be normalized. If we get to a point where the media is dealing with these stories as normal, we're losing, and we will not lose.
The Council on American Islamic Relations plans to protest against the newest version of the
Muslim ban, and for the third time, it has been struck by the courts. What we're seeing is a tale of two Americas. On one hand, you have the America that is banning people based on their religion or their national origin, and on the other, you had Americans descending on airports and saying, "Welcome, this is not who we are."
CAIR-Chicago is an organization dedicated to protecting the civil rights of Americans and American Muslims in Chicago.
We have been kicked, we have been beaten down, we have been discouraged, but you know what? We are still standing! We must protect each other. No more watching. If you want change, make it. This is what makes America great.
Things can be hard, but you have to continue doing what you love, and having strong faith is one of the most important values of life.
Our faith is central to who we are, but we must be seen for the complexity and the multidimensional realities that we live as people. What is the spirit of America? Is it one that rejects, that hates, or is it one that uplifts? We fight against that same age-old evil of putting down people based on identity. Instead, we want to uplift people based on our common values.